All right, so we are back for another episode, Upgrade Talk, episode 18. It's already 18. So yeah, as I said, this year I really want to be more consistent. It's just the second podcast of the year, but hold me accountable. If you guys want, let me know in the comments on YouTube or DM me, or I think you can leave comments on the different platforms like Spotify. Spotify and also Apple Podcasts and all that. Leave comments if you want me to upload once a week. If there's a demand, I'll definitely commit to that. So let's get it. I've been having a lot of great feedback. People reaching out to me, telling me how, having a different perspective, having someone that is going to challenge them, has been really helping people. And this is the goal of the podcast. This is what I do in terms of my different businesses, or just in terms of the podcast, just to give you guys a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you have no one in your life that is sharing things like this, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I do what I do. Today is a different decor. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm not in my office as usual, because now I have my girlfriend. She's in my office as well because the Wi-Fi is better there, so she works there as well. So I decided to move to the kitchen for today's podcast. So yeah, man, today we're gonna talk about something that something that is really deep, dear to me, and something that I really find important. We're going to talk about comparison, right? I'm pretty sure you've heard that saying that says that comparison is a thief of joy, right? And I agree and disagree at the same time. I believe that you can compare. It depends on how you compare yourself. It depends on because usually what people do is that they compare someone else's chapter, I don't know, 15 to their chapter 1 or 2. So of course that person has had experiences, ups and downs, and that's the reason why they're where they are. You know what I'm saying? And if you're just getting started or whatever, and even that, like I understand that, yes, if you don't know how to compare, or if you don't have self-awareness, yes, you're gonna be stuck in this looking at other people and thinking that everybody's better than you, because let's be honest, and we all know that on social media, everybody's just sharing their highlights. Everybody's just sharing what is working, what is going well, and nobody's sharing their struggles, and nobody's sharing like the difficult times and stuff like that. So, and yes, some people share the process, but mainly most people just share the good thing in the process, the inspiring thing in the process, and not like when things doesn't go as planned. People don't really share that on social media, on their platforms, right? Which is understandable. But at the same time, I feel like if you don't have, first of all, self-awareness, in the sense of understanding that, if you don't have self-awareness in the sense of understanding who you are, and knowing that, let's say for me, I have a low self-esteem or whatever, if I go on social media and I compare myself to all these people, of course that I'm going to feel belittled. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm going to feel like I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not XYZ, which might be true. And that's another thing about self-awareness, but also being true and raw. Like, if you're not doing enough, like, be honest, you're not doing enough. And so that's the first thing. But also understand, like, you don't know what these people that you compare yourself to needed to sacrifice to be where they're at today. It's easy to say, like, oh, look at that person XYZ. And I remember once I shared a quote, and I said that quote, like, don't hate on someone during their winning season, because you don't know what they had to lose during their losing season. Don't hate on someone during their winning season, because you don't know what they had to lose during their losing season. And I've seen this firsthand, in the sense of I had to lose a lot, from broken relationships to, I don't know, man, in terms of just early mornings, late nights, the amount of work that it takes, the amount of sacrifices that you have to make. I'll give you an example. You want to lose weight, right? So you need to make certain decisions. You go to the restaurant or whatever, or People are going out and eating junk food, and you're like, I can't, man. I have these goals. And what are the immediate reaction of the people around you? Man, you're so boring. What are you doing there? What are you like X, Y? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you're going to be misunderstood as a leader, as someone that has goals, as someone that wants to, get out of the common path. You're going to be misunderstood as someone that is aiming for delayed gratification instead of instant gratification. You're going to be misunderstood because most people do what most people do. Most people talk the talk but don't walk the walk. Most people say they want it but they don't really want it. Most people want to stay comfortable. So as soon as you decide to step back from that and look at the other side, where there's a little bit, sometimes, a lot of times more pain, more suffering, if that makes sense, more frustration sometimes, in the short term, and all that is like in the short term, right? You're not going to be understood. You're not going to be understood, and you have to be okay with that, right? So going back to the comparison. So you have to understand, like, first of all, you don't know what these people that you're comparing yourself to had to lose in order to be where they're at right now. So you have to ask yourself this question. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to get in shape, whatever it is. Are you willing to lose whatever you need to lose? Are you willing to sacrifice whatever you need to sacrifice? Are you willing to do whatever needs to be done in order for you to go from point A to point B, right? So, because it's easy to look at someone and be like, oh, they're lucky, or it must be nice. It must be nice to have this. It must be nice to have that body. It must be nice to have that car, or whatever it is. It must be nice. Yeah, but it's not nice to have to wake up super early. It's not nice to have to train 5-6 times a week sometimes. It's not nice to have to meal prep. It's not nice to have to, to be on calls all the time. It's not nice to have to eat a certain diet a certain way. It's not nice. So again, I feel like we need to step back from just idolizing the price and understanding the journey. I'll say that again. We have to step back, from idolizing the price and start looking into understanding the journey. Because once you understand the journey, the price, you understand the price. You get what I'm saying? The price, it brings more gratitude. If I know what someone had to go through to be where they're at today, if I understand their journey, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. Sometimes. And that's a good bridge, I think, to the second thing I wanted to talk about. I don't think it's going to be a long podcast, but that's the second thing I wanted to talk about. It's like, also what you have to understand when you compare yourself to other people, it's that life is unfair. And I'm sorry to break it down like that. Life is unfair. And if you try to make it fair, you're going to lose for sure, because it's not designed that way. Life is unfair. What do you want me to tell you? There are two guys. They both want to go to the NBA. One is 6'7" and the other one is 5'8". Who has more chances? 6'7". Genetics. He's been gifted. It is what it is. It's not fair. It is what it is. You might be in a position where you start a business. You pour your heart and soul into that business, and you barely reap any result. And you have someone else that is not working as hard as you. And I'm pretty sure you see people. I don't know where you're at. I don't know who's watching this today, but it's like, or who's listening. But it might be you. Like you're working so hard, and you're getting results, or you're not getting that much results, or that many results, and you see someone else that is not working as hard as you, and they're getting results. It is what it is. That's life. It's unfair. But one thing that you have to ask yourself is, okay, I see that, I understand that, but I'll just take the time to just look at me. What can I do? What do I need to do according to my personal journey, my personal gifts, my personal talents, my personal environment, my personal circumstances? What do I need to do to go from point A to point B? What do I need to do to go from point A to point B? From point A to point B. Yeah, you want to lose weight. You started the same weight as someone else, but you have two different body types, and the other person, they lose fat like this. And for you, maybe you have a different type of body where it takes more time. It is what it is. What you're going to, and that's where a lot of people get into victimhood. And I talked about that already. A lot of people get into victimhood. Like, I'm doing all this work. I'm not getting that much results. And I see that person, they're not working as hard as me, or we're doing the same thing, but they're getting way more results. You don't know all the aspects of that other person's life. So you have to, if you are to compare as a way to inspire. And that's one thing that I really wanted to mention. Compare yourself in order for you to get inspired. Like, I look at someone, I'm like, man, that's so inspiring. If that person is able, if that person can do it, so do I. And not, man, sorry, hating. Like, look at that person. Like, no, they're not even that good. Yeah, I've seen it. I wanted to play professional soccer. I've played semi-professional. Like, I know that there are some people that I've outworked in terms of work ethic, in terms of growth, in terms of whatever. But man, they had an agent. I didn't. They had people that that wanted to make them go pro, and they made it happen for them. I don't know. They were lucky in some way. It is what it is. You get what I'm saying? And this is like that in life. And once you accept that life is unfair, and you stop trying to make things fair, now you can kind of take back the control. And you tell yourself, okay, I can't control what that person is doing or what that person has done to be where they're at. But what I can control is, what do I need to do? You get what I'm saying? Okay, I might not have that fast metabolism, but hey, what can I do with the circumstances that I have? But the problem is, a lot of people, instead of having that mentality, they have the mentality of, man, I work so hard, or XYZ, and it's not happening. Or, I didn't have an agent, or whatever it is. I don't have that body type, or I don't have that amount of followers, and they find all these excuses. Right? But at the end of the day, and that's like, if there's one thing that I want you guys to take away, is this. At the end of the day, regardless of the situations, regardless of the circumstances that you are going through, or that person, has been going through, or whatever it is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you're doing, and the steps that you're taking in order to go from point A to point B. It might be different steps. You might have to take different steps. You might have to do more. Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe you have to do less. Maybe you're one of those people, or you're in a season of your life where you've lost enough. It's your time to win. So you might work, but you've already planted so many seeds that now you're just reaping those seeds, right? But maybe it's not you, and you have to put in twice as much work. Maybe you have to put 3 times more work, 10 times more work as someone else to get the same results. It is what it is. It is what it is. Right? You might be starting at the same time. You might be coming from the same hood, doing the same thing. One makes it and the other one doesn't, for different reasons. Sometimes, hey, life is just made like that. Life is just made like that. I don't know. It is what it is, So the main thing is really having that self-awareness. That first of all, if you don't have the type of mentality where you can compare yourself to someone else and be inspired, and you can't help to hate, well, okay, don't compare. Don't look at anybody else, right? But at the end of the day, I still believe that it's good to look at other people. If you can inspire, if you can get inspired and it could create something in you that wants you to move. A lot of people, they didn't know certain things were possible until they saw someone else do it. Some people, they didn't know certain things were possible until they saw someone else do it. And they're like, hey, that's possible? All right, let's get to work. Instead of being like, that person did it because of XYZ, they hate. So if you are, so first thing is self-awareness. If you don't know yourself, you're always going to be comparing yourself in the wrong way. There's nothing bad to compare yourself to other people if you do it right. If you compare by hating, by comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 15 or 25, of course it's not going to work, because you're always, and I feel like that's like a human trait, a human tendency. Like we compare ourselves, we always compare ourselves to people that are higher than us. But then, as I said, we kind of belittle who we are. Instead of being like, hey, that person can, let's go. It should fire you up when you see someone else succeed. It should fire you up. So have the self-awareness. If you can't compare yourself to other people and you can't help to put yourself down and stuff, just don't do it. But if you can, or if you can develop that skill to see the journey, to understand the journey, and to see the possibilities through comparison, you can use comparison to see the possibilities, as I mentioned before, right? And that's what I encourage you guys to do, is if you are to compare, and it's good to compare, but with the goal in mind to get inspired, to get inspired. So now it's understand, okay, I see other people succeeding. I see it as possible. I'm inspired. Then, again, you understand the journey. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. It is what it is. Sometimes it's a W, sometimes it's a loss. It is what it is. Some people are in their winning season. They've been losing a lot, and now it's time for them to win. They've been planting the seeds. They've been sowing. Now it's time to reap. Maybe you're starting your sowing season. You have to plant those seeds. It might take a while. You might just get some sort of results. It might, that's maybe where you're at right now. You just need to plant those seeds for a couple days, weeks, months, years. Hey, so having that understanding of the journey, and not just idolizing the results, the price at the end, but really seeing the journey and being like, okay, yes, I understand what I need to do. I understand that sometimes I have to lose, I have to sacrifice, I have to do X, Y, Z. It's not going to be comfortable, right? And that's the thing. If you always put in your mind that things have to be easy and light and whatever it is. And I remember I had this conversation with one of my friends, and I was telling her, hey, I'd rather tell someone that it's going to be hard and difficult and just build their character than having them, thinking things are easy. It doesn't build character. If everything is easy, you have no character. If you're not challenged, your character can't be built. If you're not being challenged, and as I said on the last podcast, being challenged and highly encouraged as well, you need to be encouraged. But if you're not challenged, you're not going to build a strong character. And I truly believe that your character is what drives you and drives you through this thing called life. Your character is what drives you through this thing called life. If you have no challenge, you have no opportunities to build your character. Or if you're always running away from challenges, you're not going to build that tough skin, that thick skin. Every time that something's going to happen, you're going to fold. Every time something's going to happen, you're going to fold. Nah, man, you have to endure until you get what you said you were going to get. And yes, it's hard, but at the end of the day, that's what makes you stronger. When you train, when you get injured and stuff like that, you build calluses, right? And those calluses are it makes your skin stronger. It's kind of the same concept. But if you don't train or you don't go through certain things, you're never going to build those calluses. You get what I'm saying? So you have to go through things. The challenges are going to make you stronger. The challenges are going to build your character. You get what I'm saying? And now at the same time, of course, it's understanding the different season, losing season, winning season, sowing season, reaping season. It is what it is. and really having that self-awareness and understanding that sometimes life is just unfair. You might work more than someone else and have less results. It is what it is. So the last thing, just as I wrap it up, the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is having that understanding that it doesn't matter what someone else is doing, or that person is doing, or that person is doing. Is take your own situation, take your own circumstances, and do what needs to be done according to where you're at and your own circumstances. You get what I'm saying? If you look at someone else and you do what they do, you might get results, you might get more, you might get less, because you have different, parameters that you have to work through and work around, right? But once you understand where you're at, in which season you are, your circumstances, and you tell yourself, okay, I want to get from point A to point B. The only thing that matters is what I do according to my circumstances. It might be more than someone else, it might be less than someone else, but it doesn't matter, because life is unfair. You might just be super gifted, you might be less. We have strengths and weaknesses, just as anybody else, and you have to work with them, right? You might start a business now, you do the same business as someone else, you post more, you reach out more, you do more marketing, you do more XYZ, but then hey, the other person, they just had it. Yes, you're trying to build a brand on social media, you're working, you're posting and stuff like that, and maybe there's just a chick she looks good and she gets all these brand deals. She looks good and she gets all this attention. Hey, that's life, my guy. That's life, my girl. You gotta do more. There's no way around it. You get what I'm saying? And the main thing is really get out of the victim mentality. You can't do nothing about it. Hey, some people just have it easier in a certain sense because of certain gifts, certain circumstances. But that's why I say do what needs to be done according to where you're at in your circumstances, in your life situation, in your upbringing. You get what I'm saying? Do what needs to be done according to all that for yourself. It's a personal journey. You can get inspired by other people, but at the end of the day, it's you against you. You look at the mirror, you look at yourself in the mirror. Hey, what do I need to do today? It might be more than someone, it might be less than someone else, but what it is for you to lose that weight, to gain that muscle mass, to build that business, to finish that degree, to whatever it is, what it is for you. Some people study it the night before the exam and they get 90%, and some people study for 3 weeks and they get 60%. Hey, what do you mean tell? I hope I didn't lose that last clip on YouTube. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. So man, just keep that in mind and let me know if that helped, if that my intake give you a different perspective. And again, that's the goal of why I do what I do, is to give you guys a different perspective and to get you guys to think in a different way, in a different perspective, and and just don't be victims. Society doesn't need more victims. We need people that have that mentality to be like, okay, let's get it. These are the people that make the real difference. It's not the complainers, it's the people that do. It's the doers, not the thinkers, not the talkers. It's the doers, the people that do. The people that inspire other people, the people that inspire the nations and all that stuff, are the people that get up and do what needs to be done, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I hope I'm not gonna lose that clip on YouTube in my camera, because I want to post it on YouTube. But yeah, if I'm able to post it on YouTube, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of it, and if that helped, if you have any questions, whatever it is. And yeah, man, until next time, get up, get dressed, and go get what's yours. Peace out. See you later.